Okay, so can you hear me now?
Yes.
Good. Okay, now you see my slide in full screen. Am I right? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Hashim.
Okay.
I also hear
Okay.
you.
Okay. This is the first lecture in Research Night 2021. We should thanks to the sponsor, the University of Nova Gorica, University of Maribor, and the others. Today I want to speak about the problem solving and decision making. My name is Hashem. I'm from the Center for Information Technology and Applied Mathematics, University of Nova Gorica. Okay. In the first step, when we say that problem solving, we should know what do we exactly talk about. So what does it mean when I say we have a problem, we encounter a problem? In glossary, it was written that the official meaning of problem, a matter or situation regarded as unwelcome or harmful and needed to be dealt with and overcome. This is the official definition of problem. But in my mind and in my speak today, the problem is when you know your current situation and you know what is your desired situation. So there is two points. One is a desired situation, one is current situation. But you don't know how you can get from the current situation to the desired situation. You are facing a problem. I'm sure that many of the students in schools spend some time and do some activity regarding the problem solving. So I don't want to deal with this issue with the problem too much, and I want to speak much more about one of the most important part of the problem solving, which called it the decision making. So with the second definition of problem that you can see it in the below the official definition, the problem can be everything. It can be a very simple problem, like for example, for the breakfast, which food is better for me, a chocolate donut or a milk with some cereal. This is one problem which is not very important and not impact our life, but there are for sure for any person from any country, from any religion, with any kind of let's say lifestyle, there are some problems which is very important, very important, like select the career, select the profession, select the or choosing the partner, choosing the home, and something like this. So I want to cover all kinds of problem in my speak today. So we can imagine different kinds of problem and try to solve it. The first step that the first slide, let's say, is the process of the problem solving that I'm sure you are familiar with it a little. The first and the second step is define the problem and analyze the problem, which is, in my opinion, they are very important part of the problem solving. The second is establish the criteria, consider the possible solution, and the step number 5, which is I want to speak more about this step, decision on a solution. And then at step 6, implement the solution and then follow up the solution. But maybe you know that define and analyze the problem is very important, because as much as As much as you analyze the problem, you have much more data in your hand, in your mind, and when you have much more data, you can analyze the problem much better, and at the end, you will find a good solution for your problem. Let's go to the next slide, and where the Albert Einstein, very famous science, said that if I have an hour to solve a problem, I would spend 55 minutes thinking about the problem and just 5 minutes thinking about the solution. So it means that it shows that it's very important to define and analyze our problem. And in order to analyze our problem, we should, of course, we have many different techniques like 6 hats. Maybe in future, I will have another seminar about the 6 hats of thinking. And also states the problem specifically underlying the main reasons, facts, and possibility. And in this case, as you can see in this slide, 6 WH question: what, why, when, where, who, how this problem started, how it's going, when it's become very in a critical point, and something like this question help you to gather more data. And as I told you, more data helps you to have a good solution. Without more data, you cannot find the best solution for your problem. And in the next step, identify the important standard and expectation. Expectation is different from the reality, but we should be logical and think about all expectation and reality in the good way. And avoid trying to solve the problem without data. This is all included in step 1 and 2. I mean, define and analyze the problem. And as I told you, I don't want to waste the time much more in these steps. So after define and analyze the problem, we go to the third step: generate all possible solutions. Consider multiple alternatives can significantly enhance value of your solution. So as I told you, more data specifically enhance your decision, your intend to help you to have a good decision. I mean, but what is there is a one big mistake here for every person in all over the world, as far as I know, that if you don't analyze and define your problem very well, and if you don't think about the all possible solution very well, then the first acceptable solution can be your choice, and it's not good. So I mean that the first acceptable solution is not necessarily the best one. This is one of the solution. Okay, let's keep it and think about the other solution, other acceptable solution. So be aware about the first acceptable solution is not necessarily the best one. So we should postpone the selection of one solution and brainstorm on all solutions to find many alternatives. Then we can select between one of these alternatives. Okay, and in step 4, we should evaluate the solution. Evaluate solution related to your target. Evaluate all solutions without bias. This is also very important. We should be honest to each other, to ourselves. Sorry, we should be honest to ourselves and evaluate the solution without any bias, and evaluate all possible solutions. And we should know that, as I told you again, the expectation and the reality are different from each other. So we should evaluate all possible solutions and state the selected solution explicitly. Okay, these are very quick review about the first, second, third, and fourth step in solving a problem. But Let me go to the choice. And in order to select the good choice, we have in a step 5, I mean the decision making, we have 2 options here. I want to speak about the decision making, as I mentioned you in the beginning of my speech. When I want to make a decision between the solution that I have in my hand, I face two kinds of decision. One is easy choices, and the second is hard choices. In easy choice, one alternative is better than the other one. So, for example, if the problem is which kind of breakfast is better for me, then one alternative can be better than the other one by thinking a little and find the solution. But this is not very important problem in our life. Another important problem, some problem in our life, we have hard choices. In hard choices, one alternative is better in some ways, then other alternative is better in another way, or neither better than the other overall. It is a mistake to think that in hard choices, one alternative really better than the others. All alternatives are in a good level. So we should try to select the less risky option. This is the key, that you should try to select the less risky option. If you put all choices side by side with full information, the choice will still be hard in a hard choices. Hard choices are hard not because of us or our ignorance. They are hard because there is no best option. But this kind of hard choices help the human in order to find themselves much better. Hard choices can uncover a hidden power each of us possesses. Okay. If the all alternatives are equally good, there is no best option. It cannot be true, because if all alternatives are equally good, you can flip a coin between the alternatives. But if you look at the very successful people in the world, they are not get success by flip a coin, for sure. They think about the problem very well. So it is another mistake to think that we can choose by coin our partner, our profession, and other important choice. Let's look at 2 examples. I want to explain my idea with 2 examples. Suppose we have to choose one of these jobs. One is investment banker, another is graphic artist. And imagine that you like these 2 jobs. You like both of these jobs, and in the same level, neither better than the other in any case. But what is your choice? What should we do in order to find which one is better for us? Now let's improve one of them a bit, and suppose that your manager adds 500 euro to your salary after 1 year, I don't know, or maybe 1 month. Then does this extra money make your banking job better than the artist one? Not necessarily. A higher, let's say, payment or salary makes the banking job better than the artist, and better the banking job as it was before. But it might not be enough to be a banker better than the artist. So if an improvement in one option, in one choice, doesn't make it better than the other what should we do? So we have, for example, two choices. Neither one is better than the other, and nor improvement in one job make it better than the other. So it's like a puzzle. If we got two jobs, neither is better than the other, nor they are equally good. So what's supposed to do? Here, mathematics helps us. Yeah, and I want to use some mathematics relation to explain what should we do in this case and what's my idea in this case. You know that something in the world, some abstract concept in the world cannot be measured with numbers. For example, justice, beauty, kindness. We cannot say that this person is kindness for 2, that person is kindness for 3. But the number can help us in compare of justice of 2 persons. Okay, so let me explain my idea much better with one example. Suppose that we have a problem. The problem is which profession and which measure is good for me for my future. And after the brainstorm and gather all data and define and analyze this problem, at the end, I reached to four final choice. One is law, the second is medicine, the third is mathematics, and the fourth is electrical engineering. These choices are completely equal for me. I mean that in some ways, some of them is better. With another criteria, other is better, and I really don't know which one is the best option. So it's a hard choice. Then if you look at the second column, I wrote some criteria that is very important for me. This criteria came from the first and second step. I mean the define and analyze the problem. So the most important criteria for me in order to find which one is better is interest, future job, family, money, community, acceptance, talent, labor market, excitement of work. Now, I wrote it in a table like this, the first row and the second column. But why the first column is empty? I put it empty for coefficient. The coefficient can be look at here. I give to each criteria one number between, let's say the interval should be not bigger than 0.7 to 1.3. It can be less than this, for example, 0.8 to 1.2, but try to not make it bigger than 0.7 to 1.3. Why? Because each criteria can multiple with number. This number can be 1. Look at the third criteria family. It means that when I multiply a number with 1, the result is not changed. It's the same number. And if the coefficient is a little bigger than 1, for example, 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, make it a little bigger than 1, than the previous number. For example, 20 multiplication with 1.1, it's a 21. Okay. And less than 1 means that these criteria is not very important, like the family or future job or interest. For example, I should say that all the table arranged only by my criteria, so you can do it in your way. So now each coefficient should be like this, as I wrote it here for myself. As I recommend you, it's better the interval between 0.7 to 1.2, not very large interval for the coefficient. Then I will give the number between 0 to 20 to each of the criteria for each final choice. For example, if you look at here, for law, the interest of me from 0 to 20 is 12, for medicine is 16, for mathematics 19, and for electrical engineering is 17. And the coefficient of interest, for me, it's very important that my field is the field that I like it. So interest is very important criteria for me. So I give it 1.3. And I'm thinking about the future job. The future job of law, who is working in justice center and something, it's not very interested for me. As a physician, working in hospital is not very interesting for me. So I give the law 15, the medicine 17. But as a mathematician, I can be a teacher or professor in the university, which is my desire, one of my desire work in the world. So I give it 20. And electrical engineering, for example, working in some company, some famous company, can be very interested for me. So I give 18 to this criteria. And the coefficient of future job is 1.1, because it's important for me that my knowledge leads me to which kind of the job. The family means what is my father, my mother, my brother, my sister, my wife comment about my future field. It's important because they are my family, I should respect them, but the importance of their comments is I give it the coefficient 1. And the fourth one is money. The fourth criteria is money. For me, myself, it's not very important like the interest of future job. And even it's not important like the family, but of course it's important because without money, we cannot live. So I give it 0.8, the coefficient 0.8. And for law, I know that the salary is much better than the mathematicians or a person who works as an engineer in company. So the grade for the law is 19, for medicine is 19, for mathematician is 80, and for the electrical engineering is 80. And other criteria you can see, in my mind, talent is very important. Labor market for me is not very important because I believe that if you are a good mathematician, if you are a good, in any job, if you are very good, then for sure you will find a good profession, a good work. So I mean that I believe that a good teacher is much better than a moderate physician. Okay, so if you can be a good compositor or I don't know, musician, it's much better than if you be a not good or weak physician. So and excitement of work for me is very important. So in this case, we can give the number between 0 to 20 to each final choice and a coefficient to each criteria. Then at the end, we can make a sum. For example, for mathematics, 19 times 1.3 plus 20 times 1.1, 17 times 1 plus 8 times 0.8 and so on. And at the end, I got 157. And similarly, I calculate for the other fields, for example, law, medicine, mathematics, electrical engineering, and you can see at the last row that the sum is, although they are very near to each other, but I believe that in this case, I can be sure that mathematics for me is the best option. And I explained that in hard choices, it's very difficult to understand which choice is the best because all the choices have some profit in some case, some benefit in some case, and the other is better in other case. So they are like a puzzle. You don't know which one is better for you. But with this manner, which I called it quantity of quality, let's say something like this, we can devote each final choice a coefficient for each criteria, and in this case we can mathematics helps us to have a compare with these choice much better. And after we find the final solution, we should follow up the solution, implement a pilot test, and choose a solution with the gathering feedback. It's also important that when we reach to the final solution, and when we understand which solution is better than the other, we should think about it, seek acceptance or consequence of the chosen solution. We should think if evaluate long-term result based on final solution. What happens if I do it? What happens if I don't do it and I do the other solution? So again, as I told you before, the first acceptance solution is not the best, and we should think about it too much. And I think it's very clear that let's say problem solving is very important in our life, because we are the author of our life. So we should decide about the problem related to our life. Consulting is very important. We should consult with our family, with the experts, but the final solution should be done by you for your life, because as I told you, we are the author of our life. So we are like a boat in a very deep ocean, and the problem solving help us to guide our boat. And without the problem solving, let's say the ocean or the wind decide which direction you should go. It's not good. And I myself have an experience that if we don't find a good solution for our problem, the nature will find a solution for our problem. And the nature is not very kind with us, with every people. So on time, so another point, that on time we should think about the problem and think about the solution of the problem. And at the end, I should say thank you for your attention. And if there is any problem and any question or idea or comment, I am very interested to hear it. Thank you very much.